This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. I love turning people on to new things that come around and things that can make life easier, save you money at the same time. How about booking a stay somewhere? If it's not going to be a hotel, a lot of times you go to the ones you know, the Airbnb, the VRBO, and all of that. There is now an alternative to that. And there's so many benefits, including financially, for the host and also the person that's renting the property. It's called Directstay. And we're going to dig back into that. Today, we're going to talk with somebody she has this long title, and I don't even think I would do it justice. I think it's Chief Ecosystem Architect, Marketing, and more. Jennefer Payne from Directstay joins us. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fabulous, Steve. Thanks so much. It was a great introduction. Super excited to be here today and share a little bit about what we've been up to at Directstay.
I hope I got your title right.
You did, absolutely. And I can explain a little bit about it if you like, but mainly it's just that we're turning a page into a new era of vacation rentals from traditional platforms and middlemen over to comprehensive ecosystems where we're designing meeting places for people to do business. So it's kind of exciting and super interested in sharing with you some of the nuances that make it unique.
I love the fact that, and most of us are familiar with booking a stay somewhere. I actually did about 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to share this with you, that when I booked that stay, I knew somebody that was staying in the same property. It was somebody I do business with, but I just wanted to get away and just relax and just whip up myself. I'm just like, but here's the thing. I booked it directly with them because of all the added fees and all the garbage you got to deal with when you deal with those other platforms. Directstay addresses that and so much more. And, at face value, book your stay or list it if you're a host. But the layers go deeper and deeper in terms of the perks for both sides, on both sides of the fence. For me, that's what makes Directstay so radically different. Would you say that kind of encapsulates what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
100%. We're bringing a extraordinary value to both the host and the guest for a five-star experience. Things that you would normally get at a traditional online travel agency, but with all the power in the hands of the people. So we're really looking for freedom and empowerment at Directstay.
And it will just not about me, but just giving you the real-time experience. The best part of that experience was, aside from it was a great property, didn't expect that, it was better than I thought, was dealing directly with the owner or the property manager. Oh my gosh, any little question. I go up into my room. Wait, Wi-Fi's not working. What? Boop, 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 boop. Got the answer. Or we'll get that fixed right away for you. And I resolved it was all good. If I was on, those other platforms, the communication, there would be delays and lags and just very disconnected. That's for me what's different with Directstay. You as a host are in complete control and completely connected with those that you're working with, which is for me a game changer. It's like the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Direct communication, I think, is it's more advantageous, but it's also safer. They meter and govern the communication between hosts and guests because they want their cut, right? So you can't send email address, you can't send uh, your phone number because they don't want you to go outside their system, right? Because then they don't get their cut from the booking. And so what we've done at Directstay, because we're not charging, it's 100% commission-free booking. And so we allow direct communication. And this is I think the most important thing, besides just the fact that it's nice to be able to communicate and cultivate your own guest book of business, right? Just as a business owner. But also, they have a system set up where you can't physically see the person who's going to come stay in your home. You can't talk to them. You have a messaging system, but it's governed. You don't really know the person that's going to come stay in your home. And I think that we've traded sort of an effort towards not being discriminatory because they set it up to where you can't discriminate against the guests because you never saw them, right? But we've sort of traded that for security and safety. And as a property owner, I want to know who stays in my house. I mean, that just makes sense. And then vice versa, as far as the guest is concerned, they want to know whose house they're staying in, I think that my mentor used to say stepping over $100 bills to pick up pennies. And I think this is one of those situations where there's been somebody else's interests that have come first instead
Mm.
of people's interests. And so Directstay is really focused on finding all of those places where somebody else's interests have out and as best we can prioritizing the guest and the host's business because the truth is the host are the rock stars of this industry. Those online travel agencies would not have a business unless there were property owners that were willing to put their houses available, and so they should be honored, they should be empowered, and we're really looking to do it in quite radical ways.
Hmm. First of all, it's not a surprise, but it just hurts and feels dirty. The fact that, the other platforms are monitoring so that you can't go direct. I understand it fully, but ew. Anyway, put that to the side. Um,
Yeah.
Knowing who you're dealing with is a game changer. It's the way it's supposed to be. You are so much goes into your vacation, your stay, your planning, taking off from work, the expense, the excitement, and all of that, all to be maybe derailed with poor communication or not knowing what you're getting into. But when it comes to the other platforms, they got there first. So they walked in and said, this is the way it's going to be. And we all have to accept it. It's like when somebody complains about Facebook, it's free, people. So accept that. In this situation, we have to accept what it is, but it's not free. They're
Right.
taking all these
Yeah.
fees and everything.
In fact, it's somewhere between 10 and 20% that they're taking. So just right off the top, it's obviously going to be an advantage if you can go to Airbnb and get a property for a certain price, but you can go to Directstay and get a property for much, much less, right?
Mm.
And so, I mean, that's just, makes sense. Water travels to the least resistance. So we're expecting it's going to be quite um, uh, uh, eye-catching just in that regard. But the other
Mm.
things that people have come to expect are safety, and there's other benefits. So one of them is insurance. And we're really, really excited to bring our insurance partner to the table. We have a insurance opportunity for hosts that's right in checkout. So, of course, they can bring any insurance they want to the table, but they have an opportunity to partner with someone that Directstay is bringing to the table. And we have first to market options in there for hosts. One of them that's really exciting is a bed bug insurance. Bed bugs are something that hosts are scared of. If you have a guest that unknowingly maybe brings bed bugs into your property, it can take your property off of the market for a while. You're missing all of that revenue. Then it's thousands of dollars usually to eradicate the issue. Sometimes you have to get rid of furniture, all kinds of different things. So there's actually a $15,000 per booking insurance that protects hosts just from bed bugs, along
Wow.
with all of the other, industry standards you would normally see at some of the larger platforms, $1 million a booking for liability, things like that. So we're excited to bring the insurance to the table. We think that is a great game changer. We also
Hmm.
have something else that is really unique about Direct Stay, and that is that In the other online travel agencies, they stand as the merchant of record, meaning that when money transacts, it
Mm.
goes from the guest to the platform, and then the platform doles that money out as they see fit to the host, and they subtract whatever fees or whatever they decide. What's interesting about that is there's no control at all for the host, the person who owns the property. And so what we're doing at Directstay is we're completely changing that model, and we're actually allowing and setting up a system to where hosts will be the merchant of record. It's never been done. And so it's very exciting because when you are the merchant of record, you're building business credit. You also have a lot more control over the transaction end to end, meaning that Directstay will not touch that money at all. You can set your own cancellation policies. Now, of course, equal opportunity, but not equal results, right? And so, as merchants go through this process to set up their own business, some people are going to have wild success, some people are not. Some people are going to have some success, adjust, pivot, change, and get better success. But that's the amazing thing about a free market system, right? Because in a free market system, you have the opportunity to fail. And whenever you have a situation where somebody controls all of the money, you have no power. And so with freedom comes responsibility, and that's one of the things that we are championing at Directstay is helping people take back their power, but understand that responsibility for their business comes with that.
I love that. And yes, I just think of real situations, and I shared this with your colleague Breck, in that the person I'm referring to that I met up with, he was staying at another property. They had a flood before he rented it. You know, it was just a bad rainstorm, and a friend of his drove by and everything. You know, the pool was all full of mud and everything. So obviously he needs a refund. I need to stay now, but I need weeks, weeks to get his money back. And it wasn't a no-brainer. Yeah, no problem. We had a flood. We'll give you your money back. No, he didn't even know if he was going to get his money back. He didn't know, and that's just very uncomfortable situation to be in. Um, I'm not the expert, but I'm going to throw something at you. You know, on the website it says find your perfect stay.
Yeah.
I think it should be your best way to stay, because this is the best all around. You know, it is the best way to stay. Tell us about your background, Jennefer. It's very unique. You know, we're talking about somebody who's dealing with the back end of a platform with a lot of moving parts. And you've revealed, you know, before we got on here, AI came into play with a lot of this. Give us your journey.
Yeah, so I actually have no background in this industry at all. And I am
Which, by the way, I'm going to jump in here and say, I think that's fantastic because you're not jaded. You're looking at it from a consumer and or a renter and a host. Fantastic.
Thank you for saying that. So I have a background actually in healing. I've been involved with nutritional, intensive medical nutrition for primary care. Also, I'm a classical homeopath. I've been doing that for about 25 years. And recently, over the last year, I got involved in merchant processing, where I started to realize this I think it's like I always say the Gestapo, but there's this weird industry where, we don't have control. And so I started looking into it more and more. And when Brett came to me about this situation with he owns two short-term rentals, and he went to one of the platforms and was like, I want to bring my own merchant processing. And they him-hawed and eventually said no. And we were talking about it, and we were like, this is a great place to really set some people free, because this is so needed in this industry. And so we just both had kind of a divine pivot in our lives, where we took a step back from what we normally do, because Breck's also a certified holistic health coach as well. And we embarked on this direct stay journey. And so, what my role has been, actually, interestingly enough, is I actually developed the platform. And so I don't have any developing experience at all. I've never coded. And I was encouraged by some people in my life to just take the bull by the horns and dive into
Wow.
AI. And so I've been following AI for a long time, been involved with different tools and different things, but never coded with it. And so I started with one particular website, and I was coding with that. And it really, I got to a certain point and wouldn't let me go any further. So then I started coding with something else. And I actually coded Directstay. And so it's a very big undertaking, and it was many, many long, long days of doing that,
Wow.
and kind of frustrating because, as you know, if people who are listening to this, if you do any coding with AI, especially over the last 6 months, getting better now, but unless you have extreme scaffolding and rails for AI to travel on, it constantly loses context. And so it's getting better now, but it was quite frustrating, but I was able to get it. And then I also have a background in marketing. I have an agency myself, and so I pivoted from the design and coding of the platform over to running and setting up automations for marketing and some of the other things. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's been quite a journey of courage. I'll say that.
Wow. From the geek side, can you tell? This is like digression here, but I'm a geek. What platform is this built on?
Yeah, so we're actually hosting on Railway, and I started with Replit, and it couldn't quite take us over the line on what I wanted it to do, and so I had to move it from Replit, and I actually got connected with a developer mentor who is amazing. He's going to take the project over the line as far as all the little ins and outs and connecting it with all of our integrations and partners. But he has a private server, and so he set me up with that private server. And then I was actually able to use a couple of different platforms. One of them, I used Cursor for a little bit,
Hmm.
and then also I used what was it? If I looked, I would be able to see it. It's Visual Studio, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, inside there, it has this thing called Rue Code. And Rue Code was really great because you could upload or you could embed like a ton of different AI tools. So I could use, when Google first dropped their new, I think it was like 2.5, I was able to integrate that. And then, you can use Llama, and you can have, Claude. I was
I
using
just wanted that right now, everybody, their head is spinning. Like, what is she talking about? This illustrates how robust this platform is.
yeah.
How would you say the user experience is different from whether it's the host looking to list or somebody looking to book when you compare it to the other platforms?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit of difference. We are looking to verify users, so we have a pretty stringent fraud and trust and safety program involved. So every single user, whether you're a host or a guest, is going to have to go through ID verification, which is kind
Wow.
of neat because then you get official, like people that are staying in your property, they're official, they've uploaded their ID, they've gone through ID verification, and
So
and
can
then
I,
there.
I'm sorry to jump in, but it's like I get excited and I want to make sure I'm on point here. With the other platforms, that's not required. The
Yeah,
ID
as far as I
verification?
know,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think so.
Wow.
Maybe I haven't really dove into HomeAway with VRBO all that much. I would have to ask Breck, but not that I know of. I know
Yeah.
there's sort of this pink elephant in the room when it comes to some of the other platforms. They have a really significant problem with drug running in their properties, and also sex trafficking and human trafficking. And I believe that this problem has stemmed from not knowing who your guest is, not being able to ever see them and talk to them. I mean, the best vetting system is to have the person who owns the property talking to their guest, right? And
Hmm.
so because they meter that because of their cut that they have to get, we have a situation that is has developed in our country where and there's something else I'd like to say about this particular avenue as well, but there's a situation developing where there's, less than desirable things that are happening in these properties because we're not properly vetting people. So the hosts getting your own merchant account with Directstay, we actually have a partner company called PowerPay Processing. PowerPay Processing is powering all of our merchant accounts. So Directstay is its use case, right? And so when a host gets their ID verified and then they go through a merchant account process, I mean, we know everything about these people, right? So they're like upstanding citizens that can pass credit reports, and we know their background, and a guest stays in one of these houses and it's going to be safe,
Mm.
because we know a lot about them. And so I guess I'll put a pin in that and I'll pivot to another very important conversation that's a part of our core messaging. And that is that we're very interested in um, the idea of helping people understand how um, corporate financing and this idea of all the money, 20% going into a corporate bank account, is robbing our small towns. Because what would you do as a host with an extra percent of your booking? What would you do as a guest? Sometimes with Airbnb, it's like 14%. What would you do with that money? And the truth is people would do things in the communities they're going to visit, right? And so there has been a corporate commodification of our small towns. And so this is a huge factor. And so one of our integration partners is um, they partner and vet local merchants in all of these areas, and they allow guests that are traveling into an area to purchase things through their web store that the host sets up and gets a revenue stream. So you don't just get a revenue stream through booking, but if your guest now goes and gets a dozen red roses, or maybe you're staying 30 days and you'd like a housekeeper to come in once every 3 days and change out the linens or whatever, the host gets a revenue stream from that business. And so by taking the money and instead of sucking it into a corporate bank account, we're redirecting it back into the community. The host is going to improve their property, making all of our neighborhoods better all over the country. And the guests are going to buy from local merchants. And so it's going to uplift
Oh
and it's
my
going to
gosh.
strengthen the community. And this is such a big part of our messaging.
Genius. And all those other things that could be offered, the rest of us forget about it, like the flowers. How easy click. Even a DoorDash type situation, maybe that's, along the way too, or even an experience. You want to book something, but
Yep.
you want it vetted. Like I go somewhere, you go in the Caribbean. All right, let's go parasailing. I don't know who I'm picking. I'm just like
Yes.
flying blind here. At least now it's been vetted. I've
Yep.
had the relationship with the host because we're both verified, so I feel even more comfortable. Boy,
Yep.
this is getting better by the second.
Oh, I could talk to you for 3 days about all the cool
I wish we
stuff.
could, but we're out of time.
I
Like
know,
so
but
cool.
it's amazing.
I know it sounds ridiculous. Your name is Jennefer Payne. Um, you've identified the pain points in all of this and have come up with solutions for it. And I think it's fantastic. Now, this is on the ground floor. As I understand it, not officially launched yet. And there's some perks for somebody who wants to list as a host, right? Should we talk about those real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, you do not pay a dime until you get a booking. So people can upload their properties and they can get started with their merchant account through Directstay, totally free of charge. The way that we have it set up, we have 3 tiers. So there's the bottom tier where you can list one property, the middle tier you can list up to 5 properties, or the top tier where you can list unlimited properties. We do have features that are first to market, so there's no one else in the industry that are offering them. Really exciting features. And really with no risk to you at all, only benefit. And the fact that we are actually marketing for our hosts. One other interesting thing is that we allow hosts to create a custom slug. So their official listing page can be branded just to them, which is something that's not being done in any part of the industry. Little tiny things that make a huge, huge difference when it comes to marketing your brand. And
Sure.
so we just want to get to the place where we can help people have their own true business ownership and have their own business.
It's almost like having your own Facebook page. Go back to Facebook for a second. You're creating your space on this platform the way you want to, right down to the payment processing. I don't see anything wrong with this idea. It's like so fantastic. What's the starting point? If somebody wants to get in on the ground floor level, founders level, if you will, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, so if they just go to our website, there is a link that says either currently right now, watch the webinar. When you go to the webinar, you'll fill out like an opt-in form. We're actually taking direct phone calls. So we make our phone number available on the website and through the webinar. You can call us and talk to the CEO or myself personally. We're very interested in founding hosts in our beta program. So we're very interested in getting people to upload their properties right away. And eventually, if you see this or listen to this down the road after our launch, all you'll click on is become a host. The very first tier is set at $147. And so it's very, very reasonable for someone to get involved. That's per month. And again, you don't pay a dime until you get your first booking. So we don't make money until you make money. And then we also have a fabulous referral system. So if you refer another host with properties and they become a paying customer, we pay out residually every single month a percentage of that payment.
Amazing. Thank you for everything today, sharing all of this and more. And also much respect for what you're doing and even your background and then implementing AI the way you have. Amazing. And we're just starting to scratch the surface here. I'm detecting there's a lot more coming as this gets going. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was fabulous. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Likewise. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.